Hi everyone, welcome back to our maths classes with a new topic, similarity shapes, where we're going to cover everything about the similar shapes and their workouts. And it is the another important topic in our revision booklet. So let's get started. In this tutorial, we'll focus on what is congruence and similarity. Congruence and similarity are mathematical terms used to describe how two or more shapes are related to each other. So let's take an example of the congruent shape first. So congruent shape have all the sides and angles equal, okay? And the corresponding sides of the angles will also be equal. Let's take this example. Suppose these two rectangles are similar to each other. How can we find these two are similar? If their sides are equal and their corresponding angles are equal. Okay, this is how we can say these are the congruent shapes. Now what is similar shapes? Similar shapes have all angles equal, but one is the enlargement of the other. So in that case, if you see these two shapes are equal to each other. They have all the angles equal, but one is the enlargement of the other one. So in that case, you need to focus on two things. One is the equivalent length in the two shapes will be the same ratio and are linked by the scale factor, which you will normally have to find it. And the second thing is equivalent angles in the two shape will also be equal. Okay, by knowing the fact which we have just discussed, can you tell me, are these triangles similar? Yes, they are similar. What about these two shapes? Are they similar? Not sure? Let's find it out. What about if I tell you these are mathematically similar? How? Okay, we are going to calculate the x in this figure, okay, the bigger one, to find out whether these two shapes are similar to each other or not. So to understand why they are mathematically similar, first we need to calculate this x. Now to calculate the x, first we need to understand the following points. And the first one is to identify the equivalent. And equivalent means there's something to work with. In this figure, we got these two, which we can work on. Now, second is establish the direction, which way we going in the shape actually, getting bigger or smaller. Now, next one is we need to find the scale factor. So check the scale factor, which is greater than 1. If it's getting bigger, and scale factor is less than 1 if it's getting smaller. So the formula for this will be second length always divided by the first length. Okay, always remember that when you're working with these formulas. Then next is whether the bigger shape is going to the smaller shape or smaller shape is going to the bigger shape. It all depends on that, okay, the scale factor. So the second length will always be depending on which direction you are moving, okay. So here I'm going to show you two ways of doing this question. First, related to the information I have given you just now by using the scale factor. So for that, first you have to identify the equivalent length. Okay, in this case, we have these two represents the same side. And then we need to see the direction. So my direction is from smaller to bigger. So my SF is going to be greater than 1. Now, we have to work for this x centimeter. To do the x centimeter, first put all the values on a piece of paper and then start finding the answer by following the formula. So second length divided by the first length. Now here Ji is equal to DC. DC is my 7 times GH by AB, which is 15/3. And if you put this information in your calculator, the answer you'll get as 35 centimeter. And that's my answer. So this is the first method which you can follow to find the answer of these kind of questions. Now here's the second method for you to try. Okay, in this formula, what we're going to do first, follow the same formula, second length divided by the first length. So here we'll divide 15 by 3 and the answer you'll get will be which is 5, which is going to times it by the value, and the answer will be 35 centimeter. So 7 times 5 is 35 centimeter, and this is how we'll find the answer with the second method. So this is the easier way of doing it. There is one exam tip for you all to remember when you are sitting for the exam. If a similar shapes overlap the diagram, and if you feel like this they are not very clear, okay, so in that case, look at that. This is my bigger triangle and that's my smaller triangle. So these two triangles are overlapping each other. It means what I need to do, I need to draw them separately. So my bigger triangle has gone separately and my smaller triangle has gone separately. So in this example, okay, triangle AEC and BDE are similar. So we would redraw them separately before we start the question. Let's take this worked example. So in this question, if you read the question carefully, it says these two shapes are quadrilateral and are mathematically similar. So it means both are equals to each other. Like means their angles will be equals to each other, but one is the enlargement of the other one. So here angle A is equal to angle L, angle B is equal to angle M, angle C is equal to angle N, and angle D is equal to angle P. All right. Now work out the length of the LP. So this is the length we are going to work on. Now here, as we know, the two sides which are equivalent are DC and PN. So 6 and 9. So these are my equivalents. Now I need to see the direction. So direction is from smaller to bigger. As I'm trying to find out the value of LP, the length of the LP, it means it is going from smaller to bigger. So my SF is also is greater than 1. Now follow the formula, second length divided by the first length, which will be 9 divided by 6, okay, and times it by 5. So the answer will be 7.5 centimeter. So my LP is actually 7.5 centimeter. This is my method 1. My method 2 is going to go like this. LP divided by AD is equal to PN by DC, which is LP is my X value, which I'm trying to find out. And the first length divided by the first length is equal to second length of the bigger shape divided by the smaller shape, which is 9 over 6. And then the answer times it by 5, the answer will be 7.5 centimeter. So this is how you can see the two formulas, or the same formula with the two methods are giving the same answer. So all this time we were trying to find the length of the similar shapes, okay? But if the question will ask you find the volume of the similar shape, so how you gonna do it? So let's take this worked example. For similar shapes, if the length of the scale factor is k square, then the area of the scale factor will be the k square as well, okay? So if k is greater than 1, and we wanted to make the surface area bigger, so we can multiply the smaller surface area by the k square. Okay, this is the information which you need to remember. Now always check whether you should be making the shape larger or smaller, and this is a very important thing. So in this case, the company makes the monster. A company makes small monster with a height of 20 centimeter, and the small monster has a surface area of a 30 centimeter square. Now the company also makes the larger monster with the height of 120 centimeter, and the smaller monster and the larger monster are mathematically similar. Now work out the surface area of the larger monster. So in that case, calculate the K, okay, the scale factor of the enlargement for the length using K is equal to larger equivalent length divided by the smaller equivalent length, okay? And in that case, my larger equivalent length is 120 divided by 20. So 120 is the height of my bigger monster and 20 is the height of my smaller monster. So you can understand here that my image is moving from smaller to bigger, okay? That's why my SF is greater than 1. So the answer will be 6. So K is equal to 6. Now the surface area, as we know, it is the area, the surface area which has been given for the smaller monster, which is 300 centimeter square. It is going to be multiplied by the K square, as I have already mentioned that before. So K square means 6 times 6, because K's value is 6 over there. So 300 times 36 is going to give you 10,800 centimeter square, and this is how you need to find the surface area of the bigger monster, okay? Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video informative and helpful. And remember to always break down the problems, use logic and critical thinking, as I always say that, and check your work out before submitting your paper. And practice makes perfect, so don't be afraid to tackle similar problems to, make your confidence more, or like means boost your confidence more. If you have any further question or need help with a specific problem, please don't hesitate to reach to us. Thanks again, and we'll see you in our next video.